And for Off the Block, I'm Vinny Lopes, and welcome to the NJIT Men's Volleyball News Conference as they are preparing for their upcoming match against Penn State in the Molten Off the Block National Match of the Week. And we're joined here. Let's start off with Coach. Huge match this weekend. Don't need to tell you. You are taking on Penn State, first place on the line in the EIVA. Give us your thoughts on this matchup and what we can expect this weekend.
We're excited. Anytime we get the opportunity to showcase the work that we've been putting in, I think it's exciting for the guys and myself to, show the rest of the country that we can play with the big guys. This weekend is going to be tough. I think Wildman's should be back in the lineup. He's definitely going to bring a little bit more of an arm to their offense than they had last time, behind the service line and offensively. So we're excited to see what we can do about it. We've trained hard this week and up till now, so ready to go. All
right, let's now go to Jonathan Bates of Off the Block, who has a question.
A question for Alvaro. One of the biggest changes this year for your team is that Griffin has been setting for you guys as opposed to Rock. Can you talk about how seamless it's been for Griffin to step in as setter?
Well, I think it was important for us that we brought most of the guys, most of the lineup that we used to play last year. So that was a big part for us, even though we knew we had so much to work on and to develop this year to get to the point we are right now. But Griffin, it's been a good addition for us. He's, at the end of the day, he's been playing around here on New Jersey, and we knew he had a good level of volleyball, and it was a great addition for us.
And a question for both the players, both of you. This pandemic has been nuts, and I'm sure it's been additionally complicated for you guys just being, from a different continent and everything. Can you just talk about the off season that you guys experienced in Europe and just some of the challenges you guys had, even just, trying to train and play volleyball?
Well, as of myself, I had the opportunity to play with the national team before coming here. It was a little bit hard as we started to get tested every 3-4 days, getting quarantined before traveling to Cyprus as we played a qualifier over there, as well as I had to stay home a little bit before coming to NJIT and practice with the guys. So at the end of the day, we all had tough times, but we knew we were going to have the chance to play, and we're very excited, and this everyone else.
I think my experience with the pandemic and over the summer, it's probably more similar to a lot of the guys from these states as well, because I wasn't really able to play much. I had to keep myself fit indoors, in my room in the apartment. And yeah, we're super excited to be able to play again in practice, and we're trying to catch up on what we missed in the fall. And just try to get better now in the spring.
Let's now go to Gordon from the EIVA, who has a question.
My question is for both guys. First to Alvaro. When you played Penn State the first time, you had perhaps your best weekend of the season, especially this Sunday afternoon match. Is there anything particular that made that day work so well for you? And then the question for both of you guys is, how do you recapture that the second time around against Penn State?
Well, we know that if we want to host the playoffs on the end of the day, it's going to be a long season, because at the end of the day, we're playing 4 games against every team. But we know, if we want to have the advantage of hosting, at the end of the day, it's going to come to those games. So we're just preparing ourselves to those big games and make sure we're ready for the battle.
And a question, Julian.
I was just going to agree with Alvaro. And I think the first game we played against Penn State, we played kind of nervous. it was pretty much an off game for us. But I think it was really important for us to come back in the way we did in the second match, and we'll definitely try to perform that way from the first game onwards.
Question for both the players here, and then we'll go to Jonathan. You know, this season you guys now have that ranking number next to your name, and you're now the opponent that teams are circling on their calendar getting pumped for to play. I want to ask, how has the mindset for you guys changed at all, knowing that you guys are now the hunted?
I don't think it hasn't, because it's been something that we've been looking for in the past years. As you said before, this program has been evolving a lot, and we've been getting better and better. But at the end of the day, we know what's our objective at the end of the season. We're gonna go all the way to nationals. We're gonna make the playoffs and get to battle with the big guys, as Danny said.
And let's now go to Jonathan Bates, who has a question. Jonathan?
So Coach Calvis, I'm going to pull a Vinny here and ask you a curveball question, but it's very pertinent to Vinny. Everybody who obviously sees you knows about your beard. What tips do you have for beard maintenance for Vinny?
Okay, buy a comb and a brush. Make sure you buy products for your beard, because it's very important that you don't use hair shampoo on your beard, because it's different hair and it gets more brittle. And make sure you're just, maintaining it every day as best you can.
Oh.
Take care of it as if it was a pet.
Yeah. So when did you start growing the beard? Was there ever a time in your life when you did not have a beard?
Last week. This is 1 week. No, I think when I got to NJ, I actually was, as somebody pointed out on Twitter at some point, my LinkedIn photo was from before I got hired at NJIT. But that first year, the guys were super motivated to do some No Shave November, and I kind of just stuck from there. I've definitely shaved in between, but this isn't a 7-year beard here. But it kind of stuck. People started to notice me for it. I enjoy it. Why not?
Let's
go for it.
Yeah, let's go to Gordon, who may have a beard or volleyball question.
Okay.
Gordon.
I have no idea how to follow that one, and as someone who can't grow a really good beard, I'm just envious of that shag. But back to a volleyball question. Danny, you have a special lineup, a special team here. How disappointing is it that this season isn't a normal season, and that you couldn't really take this team out for a run against the best in the country, go out west, face some of the best teams, and really know like you've got your team prepared for the postseason?
I mean, it would have been nice. For what reason? I mean, at the end, our goal is to win the conference, which is going to be, I mean, other than not having Princeton and Harvard, is going to be pretty much the same. And in some ways, it's a little different, challenging differently, right? Like, teams are going to know you better the second half. They've already played you twice. So you have your own challenges within that. If we can accomplish that, I think we're in good shape. And then we, like the guys want, and our goals are always try to make an NCAA tournament. Well, obviously win the conference first, but make an NCAA tournament and try to go from there. And then we can try to prove ourselves there. In a normal season, it would have been excellent. Like last year, where we were going to have Ohio State, Grand Canyon in our gym, then we were going to go take a trip to California and kind of show it on the road. But at the end of the day, we know what our level is. We're trying to perfect our craft and make our level higher every day, so that at the end of the year we can have some, conference accomplishments and national accomplishments.
I think we have time for one or two more questions. So I'll pose this one to Julian. Julian, we've seen your game continue to improve, this being year number 2 that you're at NJIT. Can you talk about what you feel has been the biggest area of improvement in your game since you started college volleyball?
Yes, thank you. I think my level of play and especially consistency so far has been improved. Regarding to last season, and I think the biggest thing for me right now is my serve. I feel like it's been going way better, and we worked a lot on it in practice, and I think it can add a lot of value to the team that way.
And final question for me, then Jonathan will have a question. For both of you, NJIT, or for both players, NJIT, not necessarily a household name for most people that aren't in the volleyball community. So I just want to ask for both of you, how did you guys find out about NJIT, and what was the recruiting process like that ultimately led to you guys joining the Highlanders?
Most of European players, is Julian and some of the guys in the team, we go through like agents in Spain, or like around, like in my case it was in Spain, but Julian was like around like in Germany and Europe. They put our names in like what we call a portal, or they contact the coaches, and that's the way coaches reach to us as of scholarships and coming here. So that was pretty much the process.
Perfect. And then going off that, Danny, I guess I have to ask you, when you were seeing these guys on film, probably didn't get to see them too much in person. What was the thing that jumped out for you seeing them on film, where it was like, man, I want these people in my gym?
A few things. I mean, obviously seeing their video is nice. You can kind of see how they move and how they're competing, and that kind of idea. But a lot of the level of the leagues they're playing in, and Alvaro had opportunities to play with the national team, Julian as well. And when you're getting that kind of high level play at a young age, even though it's against guys your age, there's a little bit more pressure on you than maybe a high school volleyball game here. So I think getting guys who are put in those positions, it was beneficial for us, because they just know what it takes to compete at the highest level, right?
And why don't we close off this news conference with a question from Jonathan. Jonathan, you're up.
Question for Alvaro, but I guess maybe it would have been more appropriate for Luca, but I'll ask you anyways.
Alvaro speaks for Luca, so it's okay.
I feel like the season that you had last year, you probably had some pro prospects, and you could have left with a year of eligibility left. Why was there a reason why you came back? Is it more of unfinished business, or it was more about getting your degree?
Well, I of course had technically I have 2 more years of eligibility, but I'm gonna focus on what you said, unfinished business. We really felt last year we had unfinished business because our season was cut off just at the point where we felt like we were like making that switch, making what we needed to do to play with those big guys, big teams. As coach was mentioning, we had GCU, Ohio State coming on the next week, and we just beat Princeton, which was our #1 seed in the conference. So that's what kind of overtaking from last year to this year, that point where we were left and focusing on that premier left and getting better from there.